thanks to Dalilah, who's been in track and field for a long time. Welcome to Mother-Daughter Connections, the show dedicated to educating, encouraging, and equipping moms to build lasting, meaningful connections with their daughters. I'm your host and mother-daughter relationship personal trainer, Dr. Michelle Deering. My heart is to be of help to you. I believe that your relationship with your mom is the foundation for your future success, personally, parentally, and professionally. Now remember, even though I'm a licensed psychologist, I'm not your shrink on this show. I am, however, here to share my opinions and those of my guests. If you have concerns about your mental health, please seek services from a mental health provider in your local area. Now join me as we pause to consider today's topic. Well, hi there and welcome. I am so excited that you're here with me today. And as you know, these last several weeks, I've been excited because it is an Olympic year. The Olympic trials have just finished, and I'm eagerly waiting for the Olympics to start. But I've been sharing about lessons that we learn from elite athletes. Well, today, I'd like to just jump a little bit to Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, Anna Cockrell, and Jasmine Jones, who have each had their own personal journey in track and field. They are each elite 400-meter hurdlers. And during the Olympic trials for the 400-meter hurdle event, I was just so taken back. And you've heard me share about the fact that Sydney broke another world record during the trials. It's not even the Olympics yet, but the trials. But because of her accomplishment, Anna Cockrell and Jasmine Jones actually had personal bests during that time. They shaved off seconds off of their original personal times. And it just honed in on how the actions of someone can either bring people down or bring people up or pull them along or retard them and hinder them, their forward progress. And so that just got me thinking about what I saw happen at the end of the race. I'm not even going to talk about the race in and of itself. I could break that down ad nauseum for you track nerds like me out there. Okay, so my husband is a Division III hammer throwing champion. So I'm into track and field on all levels, but I won't do that here. Maybe that'll happen at another time. But it was what happened after the race. As I'm seeing these young ladies on the TV screen being interviewed by the sportscaster at the end, they put the microphone in front of Sydney. She says a few words. She's excited, very grateful. They put the microphone in front of Anna Cockrell, and then it started to flow where she said, "I'm emotional, but," and then she did this wonderful tribute to the person I'd like to talk about today is Dalilah Muhammad. Now, Dalilah is from New York. Hey, New York in the house. We just got the East Coast going all over the place, right? And she goes on about how Dalilah has had an impact, not just on the event of the 400-meter hurdles, but on the sport of track and field in and of itself. And then after she went on about that, the sportscaster interviewer put the microphone in front of Jasmine Jones, and she just continued the pouring out of thanks and gratitude for Dalilah, who's been in track and field for a long time, which is not common. And even though Sydney, Anna, and Jasmine came in first, second, and third in that order, and Dalilah came in sixth, it was almost like a passing of the torch kind of moment where these young folks, young queens, they're not even in training, they're queens, but they're young queens, okay, compared to Dalilah. These young queens were giving thanks. They were expressing appreciation. And it got me thinking about how, from the things that they said, okay, you get on the track and you're competing against each other, but how Dalilah would carry herself with such grace and dignity and sportsmanship and would take it upon herself to mentor, have a kind word, give a word of encouragement, give a pointer or two, share her experiences to be of help to these young women. And so the way in which she poured out and gave thanks for them being in the field by her actions and the way in which she interacted with them was now being reciprocated in such a beautiful way. In a moment in these young queens' lives, now they're going to the Olympics, knowing that this beautiful person who's been so instrumental in their lives won't be going with them, how they took that moment, which could have been all about them, but placed it on being about Dalilah. And it got me thinking about how we as moms have this wonderful opportunity, this privilege of being in such a pronounced and important leadership role, influential role in the lives of our daughters. And it begs me to think and ask the question, do we actually walk cognizant of that each and every day when we're around our daughters? How are we interacting with them? How are we encouraging them? How are we expressing gratitude and thanks for them? You know, I recently had an interaction with my eldest, Candace, where there was something that she did and I didn't understand it. And in my not understanding it, internally, I took it a certain way and I was getting upset. And then I thought about it a little bit and I thought, well, rather than be in my head about it, why don't I just have a conversation with her about it? And the way in which I approached her was, I said, this particular thing that happened, I'm not understanding what was going on there. Can you help me understand? What were you thinking from your point of view? And when my daughter, Candace, started to expand more on what was going on with her at the time and what things she was thinking, literally, there was stuff that I wasn't aware of. I thought I knew, but I didn't. She's not the same young lady that she was, even last year. She's grown and developed. She's out there in the work world on her own. She's thinking her own thoughts and doing her thing and kicking much booty. So I'm not with her 24/7 like I was when she was little. So all this stuff that she was telling me was new. And as she shared it, literally on the inside, and I started tearing up a little bit, not because I was sad or upset. I teared up because I was so grateful that she actually shared openly and honestly with me what was going on. And I didn't just have that thought inside of me. I actually shared that with her. And I said, Boo-boo, that's one of the things I call them. Boo-boo, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I had no idea. And I really, really am grateful that you shared it because now I know and I will be more cognizant of it going forward. And she was really appreciative because she heard and received that thanks from me. And it was just a wonderful moment with her. And I just would want to encourage you moms. We're in this Olympics. We're cheering for people who we don't know, okay? Unless you're one of the moms out there who has an Olympic athlete out there, good on you. Kudos. High-fiving you, all right? But if you're just watching or you're hearing or reading the news about the stuff that's going on at the Olympics, we cheer them on. We are so proud of them because they're representing our country. And again, I root for the United States, but athletes from all over the world. So, you have an athlete and you're rooting for the athlete who's representing your country. Your country, i.e. your home, your family. Root for your family. Root for your young lady, your queen in training, your young queen, your queen. Express gratitude. Thank her. Tell her what you appreciate about her. Just take that moment today and do that, will you? Now, if doing that is something that's hard for you, or there isn't that reciprocity or closeness between you and your daughter the way you'd like, I would love the opportunity to come alongside you and be of help to you. That's what I do as a mother-daughter relationship personal trainer. I have experience not just as a mom, but I'm trained in the field of psychology, okay? I've been doing this for so long, I can pick up on what needs to be addressed when and how, and I can give you the help that you need. Schedule a no-guilt consult call with me. Just go to the URL bit.ly/no-guilt consult. That's bit.ly/no no guilt consult. Schedule a time. I'd be happy to help. I'm in your corner. Be encouraged. Healthy mother-daughter relationships are possible. They just take one curative connection at a time. I'll see you next week. You've been listening to Mother-Daughter Connections with me, your host and mother-daughter relationship personal trainer, Dr. Michelle Deering. Thanks so much for joining me today. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Share this episode with a friend so they don't miss an episode. And download the resource in the show notes. Until next time, remember to pause to consider how you can connect intentionally so you can improve relationally with your daughter.